don't want to go too hard. Here we go. Run it back.
You want to start over?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying
So you want
things.
to say run it back?
I was saying like run it back like I'm that man. Yeah. And just like that, we're back. We're doing it live, as the horrible and not great Bill O'Reilly once said. But that clip is fucking great. We're doing it live. So I go by the name of Small Eyes with a Z, like Zorro or Zebra Cakes. And who else do we have with us?
We got Yakko, like the Animaniac.
Nice. Which they back. They're back.
They're back.
Oh yeah, did it come out?
Back
Yet?
like the
That's coming soon.
Animaniacs.
Yeah,
It's coming soon.
Cool.
That's a rap verse. That's a rap bar right there. Because he's a rapper.
Kavari, Tristan Kavari.
With the K.
Yeah, with a K.
It's your girl Ashley C. Baby. 2 E's, okay?
Please say it, baby. And who do we have? Last but not least
Da-da-da-da.
in the streets.
So, Anastasia, like Russian royalty.
Ooh.
There you go.
And just drop it. And just drop it. And then that's just how it's being dropped.
The Putin on him.
Yeah. Drop my Russian connection. Love.
Yeah, I mean. So shout out to the Russian bots out there destabilizing the world and shit.
Changing the world one post at a time.
One post at a time. This is Digital Good Times. We're back, and it's been pretty tumultuous since we left whoa, look at that. That's fine. Slur. Since we last left you. Fuck it, I'm gonna work it out, man. Let me work it out. Let me work through it, y'all.
Yeah.
Can I work through it, man? While y'all already,
Need to do some.
See, it's already
Silver linings on the other side.
it's already hitting the fan. The shit's already hitting the fan. It's totally cool.
Yes, guys.
What?
See? All right. So what we're going to start with, since we already getting off track, we're going to go ahead and get into what we call a warm-up, and it goes a little like this.
Lights please, turn off the lights. For now, everything just seems so right.
Shout out to Jermaine. You know what I mean? That's his birth name.
Didn't it have
Jermaine.
like a anniversary of the warm-up recently? What album? What mixtape?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that was his mixtape.
anniversary,
That was
yeah.
one of his early mixtapes.
They just
But
had like an anniversary for it.
shout out to Jermaine, man. You know what I mean?
For a minute.
Like a 10-year. Yeah, it was a 10-year.
Pretty cool. Cool story, man. No shots to Jermaine, and all love to Jermaine and the crew in Dreamville.
He's still your favorite rapper?
He's never been my favorite rapper. He's never been my favorite rapper. But we're not gonna go there. We're gonna start with this first topic for the warm up. We're just getting right into it, which is the question: is Twitter on its deathbed? But before we get into that, we have a special announcement. I want to start by announcing that a lot of y'all have been asking for it. A lot of people on all of our platforms, whether it's Facebook, whether it's IG, whether it's Twitter, and now Discord. Shout out if you didn't know, we started a Discord. It's available on our website, digigoodtimes.com, where you can access our all of our channels for communication. And guess what we're also going to have on there? The Digi shop, which is dropping very soon. And the only way you're going to know about this drop, which is a very limited bespoke, Digi shop. You know what I'm saying? We witty. It's bespoke. If you don't know what bespoke is, look that shit up. Bespoke.
You want to say it one more time?
Yeah, I want to say it one more time. Bespoke, custom, handmade. It's handmade. Incredible, beautiful pieces for y'all that is going to be super, super limited. You're only going to be able to find out about it through our mailing list and through the Digi Tribe. So please subscribe if you aren't already. We're very excited to give that to y'all very soon. So stay tuned on your internet. Shit's going to be flames. And I'm just excited about it. So,
Nice.
Getting into our main subject is Twitter, or not our first warm-up subject is Twitter on its deathbed. The question I have is, for those that don't know, Twitter has just not innovated, stole like they always do, like all these social media platforms, another iterative thing, which is called fleets. Fleets, like fleets, fleet on fleek,
Like on it?
not on fleek, but fleet
With a T.
Of
like
planes?
fleet, like Fleetwood.
Of planes?
Fleet.
Yeah, like a fleet
Yeah.
of planes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
like a fleet of planes. And essentially, it's just literally a copy of stories. And so now you're going to have to maintain stories across at least 4 or 5 platforms. That's if you're counting fucking Snapchat, and also if you're going to count TikTok.
No.
Fucking insane. But it didn't stop
Wait,
there.
If I was a dog, dude, I could not keep up.
What?
What? What'd you say?
I said, even if I was a dog dude that like just was dogging females and posting certain things on certain media profiles, there's no way I would be able to keep up.
Oh, okay. I see. Like you sliding into the DMs.
That's the angle to come from.
Right.
She went all the way around and came back.
I mean, so that's part one of it. The second thing that they're iterating, we've talked about it before, but like a lot of other platforms, like I don't want to necessarily keep bigging up this space called Clubhouse. Is cool, but they be getting so much press and it's getting free press along as free ideas and IP off a lot of us. But Twitter is hoping to iterate off of their success and their let's just call it hype that they have going on right now. They now currently have in like super private beta, much like Clubhouse, their own version of audio chats, and I'm sure a lot of the social media platforms are going to follow through. But my main question is all this shit going to save Twitter, especially when in January 45 Cheeto Man is going to be the fuck out of here? I open the floor.
He's not going anywhere. Where do you think he's going? He's not. He still has the internet.
He has his
Like
own Twitter
he's
account.
not like, you know. And just for the record, Fleet is the worst name I've heard of. No, clearly there was no one in the room who was like from the LGBT community. Fleet is an enema, y'all. Like that's what I know Fleet for.
Whoa.
Right? Like y'all, who didn't tell them that? Like, yo, your new product is named after an enema.
Like, is that the slang for enema?
No, it's a brand of enema. Like it is called Fleet Enemas.
Oh wow,
Ain't that some shit?
Wait, I got some. I definitely got some that will go directly with that. Wowing.
I wasn't looking at. I thought that
That's
was you doing
crazy.
That.
Oh no. That's the homie corporate.
The
I don't know.
craziest thing to me is, you know, Twitter is everything. It's Pornhub. It's social media. It's meme worthy. I mean, it's all of that. So I feel like they literally sat here and slapped themselves in the face to even create this. It didn't need that. Nobody cares about that. Everybody wants to tweet and get the on, because even then, if you look at most I would say gossip sites, where do they get a lot of their first seen tweets, whatever? It's from Twitter.
Yeah.
So they're going to automatically, no matter what, have a plethora of different type of people. They're going to always have people coming to Twitter to see what's up, because everybody hears everything first on Twitter. It's not Instagram. It's not Facebook. It's Twitter. Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, they have a whole different audience than Instagram, but it looks like they're trying to dip their toes in, as Amon loves to say.
Yeah.
To the Instagram pool.
So let me be that. Let me just, because I'm getting I get a lot of pushback. I talk with one of my best friends. Shout out to my bro Spree, and he's also of the mind that Twitter's not going to go anywhere if Trump goes anywhere. But he's already stated that he already hates Twitter, and he's using it because it's the necessary evil, and they're blocking him, and they're going to continue to block him in the foreseeable future. So he's literally like been hobbled, and then they've been intentionally promoting this Parler, the conservative app that everybody's now talking about, that I guarantee you he's going to get live on. So it's like, I'm not saying he's going to get off of it, but the attention and energy he's put into it, which he's helped magnify and enhance Twitter over the last 4 years. Because prior to these 4 years, Twitter was not jumping like it was pre-Trump. That's
not
just
for us.
That's just
I
facts.
feel like
no, in general,
there's a community
just
of people
people.
that use Twitter.
On Twitter, honestly.
Wait, hold on. So we ain't talking over everybody.
That's we would schedule our Tiny Chat. So Tiny Chat used to be this video chat platform, and when I was in school, we even had like this whole almost like Tiny Chat idol where we would kick people off if they sounded terrible. Right. So, but how we found people and we connected with people was Twitter. Honestly, I stopped using Twitter for a long time. I just started using Twitter again. Right. I hadn't used it for
is what I'm talking about.
8-9 years. Yeah. I'll be totally honest. Twitter was popping for me. Like all of the industry, the little IG models and stuff like that. We rode that wave.
Right, but
same. Like Twitter didn't start popping because Trump got on it and been talking like wild crazy. Like I don't see that. Because back when I was a blogger and I was doing a lot more content creation, that's where stuff was happening. That's where there are girls that I've known for like the whole time I've been on Twitter that I've made great relationships with, and I've gotten work from Twitter, and it has nothing to do with him. So him leaving I think may take away a portion of some of the stuff that they've gotten, obviously, but they're not going anywhere. And this idea of, we got to do what everybody else is doing to ride a wave, that's actually just, like Ashley was saying, like you're shooting yourself in the foot because that's not their audience.
100%.
Like you go to Twitter because it's real time news.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of gives
Do
me the
y'all
vibe
remember
of
Obama followed everybody on Twitter though?
Yes.
So I mean, that was a thing before Agent Orange came around. Honestly, like it was popping. Like I literally used to do trivia on there and give out prizes on Twitter. Like that was a thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And Black Twitter has been a thing.
Yeah.
And will continue to be a thing. Like the whole live streaming shows, that's a Black Twitter thing. Yeah. Mango Unchained is not gonna stop Black Twitter.
Mango Unchained. Wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Like that.
Remotely close to Pornhub, like first of all, Twitter does not censor the stuff on there. People, I saw a girl post a video. I lied to you guys not. I saw a girl post a video, and this was before OnlyFans had started to get popular, and she actually had a video where she was masturbating on their like openly. I feel like anything like that really doesn't have limits, there's no way it's going anywhere. But the Fleet thing, I think it just doesn't make sense.
That's whack.
Cool. Jack, go ahead and interject your part, and then we're gonna go move to the next segment.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the Fleet thing kind of reminds me of like an aging rapper that's trying to keep up with a trend that they don't need to keep up with.
Like
there's your
I'm not
segue.
gonna name names.
And there's your segue. Thank you. Okay, so my final talk on this is I agree with most of what you're saying, what everybody's saying. I just believe that them bloating and stuffing Twitter is not a good sign. They haven't been profitable in forever. The company's already been in disarray. This motherfucker Jack Dorsey was trying to move to Africa. You know what I mean? So like definitely the shit Twitter is not in like great space if everybody wants to keep it a thou wow. And so, I'm just saying Twitter is into, they're going to be in some interesting iterative spaces in the next couple of months, and we're going to watch it and we'll see how it goes. And thankfully we won't have to worry about the, what'd you call them, Anastasia?
Mango
Unchained.
One
That's
of my
hard.
homegirls said that and it's just stuck with me.
I was like, whoever came
I think
up
it's
with that.
like the most like real way to describe him.
Yeah.
He's the color of a mango and he wild as hell for no reason.
That's just hard. Yeah, tell your homegirl that's hard. Mango Unchained is going to be the go-to until he's out of here. So on that note, we're going to keep it moving, and we're going to get into kind of our next topic. And normally, we have our warm-up and we get into our secondary topic. Today is going to be a little bit different, though, because there's been so much going on. Like we said, ever since our voting episode, which shout out to wonderful Branch Politics, giving the people that fantastic tool, in my opinion, one of the best tools in Georgia for your voting empowerment. You're going to need that very soon in the runoffs. So please believe we'll probably get Branch to give us a nice segment right up to that runoff that's happening very soon in Georgia. But we flipped this motherfucker, so we know that we came out in droves and we made this shit happen, and it's very exciting and super dope. It means a lot for the state of Georgia, especially us as Black and brown people in the state. So that's hard, but that's positive. But we also now got to flip to what hasn't been so positive going on within the greater hip hop community. And it's been a fucking onslaught, if we're just going to keep it real, especially because 2020 has been so cruel to everyone. But in particular, man, it's just been hard as fuck on rap and hip hop. And so I want to just give a quote or two from two people who have been involved and personally connected to some of the shit going on. Then I'm going to play a clip and then we're going to talk about it. So this is where we're talking about the sustainability of stick talk. If you're not familiar with what stick talk is, then I feel sorry for you, but that's okay. That just is self-explanatory, right? It's people talking about guns, right? And it's been going on in hip hop since the beginning of time. We were on a couple of chats in Clubhouse, or as Joe Budden calls it, the chitty chatty space. And everybody's talking about like, yeah, this is like, they're trying to blame it on the young and blame it on the youth. But in truth, whether we're talking about just Black and African diaspora in general, we've been tribal, right? So we're going to always be tribal. It's unfortunate that this tribalness has manifested itself. It went from, of course, the Panthers, and you can see that film called Panthers of the Party, which they say that the dude in it is actually like a rapist and a fucking horrible person. So like, I'm not saying the guy in that film is a good guy. Nah, the guy who's in the documentary, who's leading the documentary.
Gotcha.
He's a horrible person. He's from a whatever gang, but it talks about the actual lineage from the transition from Black Panthers into Crips and Bloods, right? So we're talking about these things come from a place of positivity. We talk about hip hop. The original formation of hip hop was fucking gangs. The Zulu Nation is a gang. If you don't know that, they've got bodies. There's all kinds of people where we're talking about the origins where it started as a form of protection and support within our communities, within our as protection. And so it's in the DNA of hip hop from jump. So we got to acknowledge that. Right. Where we are now is it's moved from being a space where a lot of the people who were in the art form, all the rappers, were more associated with streetness or were adjacent. They were street adjacent, or they were reform street people. You know what I'm saying? Or reform gang members. Now we're in an era where a lot of these rappers are actual active gang members and actual active shooters, right? So I wanted to preface the conversation with that. Here's a quote from Fivio, who lost one of his friends and one of his main partners in the rap game, and in particular in his crew, which is Pop Smoke. And I actually really, really liked Pop Smoke. I thought he was fire. And what is his Fivio's quote? He says, "Rappers are the most targeted people on the planet Earth. Targeted by police, by other rappers, by media, by civilians, by everybody else that feels like we shouldn't have all the things we have." That's Fivio, who is obviously now a paranoid and worried person that not only one of his homies, but he's a target because he's an active gang member as well who talks all the same talk. Let's continue on to Boosie, who we know everybody knows about Boosie, but he actually just got shot in Houston, and his homie who he had on the Mike Tyson show. Literally everybody, if you didn't see it, it's actually a fantastic episode where Mike Tyson reaches in Boosie's soul. He grabs his soul out of his chest. It's nuts, right? And his homie Mo3 is right there in the background and he seems like he was a cool dude. He got stalked and murked on the highway. And Boosie says this: "We got the most dangerous jobs as rappers. Nobody has a more dangerous job. Every night we go out, we can get killed. Not just by a cop, not just by police. It could be a fan. It's our job. It's really dangerous, especially when we get 10 to 100,000 K from clubs. This gangster rap, and you also have ops. Our life is very dangerous." So those are directly from two people they're not just talking it, they're actually direct byproducts of violence that has been occurred, that has been perpetuated against them, their team, or actually in a direct vicinity. So then I want to start with this clip, and then I want to open it up to y'all. All right, so let's check out this clip. Play. Sorry.
It's not a real rapper, right? Like it's someone who's just, making music in the bedroom kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, some of these artists became huge, and there was something similar to their music. It was kind of a punk element to it, and a raw element, and a kind of super nihilistic, young people sort of disillusionized, doing drugs, sex, people with tattoos all over their face, and like all kinds of weird stuff, crime. There was a time when literally we had the most popular artist on SoundCloud, and the next week he was dead, from an overdose or something. And then, we had the most popular artist on SoundCloud, and the next week he was killed. It felt like every week there was some huge scandal around one of these artists. I mean, social media is still a super young phenomenon, and extreme characters sort of get amplified.
So before I get y'all thoughts on that, two things I want you to, that if you didn't notice, this is from a documentary that came out about Danny Dimes, aka that guy. I don't even want to say his name, but it had an interesting excerpt in there, and it's from one of the co-founders of SoundCloud. This German cat, Eric Waffors. His name is fucking weird to say. It's hard to say. Waffors. And what's interesting, I don't know if y'all heard it. Did you hear how he was jovial and how he was talking? He was joking. He was actually laughing. He's laughing about that his top performers, the people who fuel his platform, are dying, and he's making it as a joke. And I watched it, I ran it back a couple of times when I first watched it. I was like, he's not laughing. It's like, no, he was actually joking about it. That's how detached they are from the reality that these young people that fuel their empire, the underground, all of that shit fuels their empire. And I just want to and here's the question: are artists being used as pawns or fodder for the tech music industry to use and abuse and capitalize off of? Your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm gonna just be real. It has been like that forever. What I can never understand is why. No, I can't understand it. I'm not gonna say that. I feel like us as our culture, or us as a whole, as a collective, we don't invest in ourselves. We would rather invest in the white man's dream, anything that a white man builds up in order to feel like it's better for us, or it's more professional, or our own people. I just feel like at the end of the day, these labels and these entities have been a graveyard. They've been a graveyard. Oh, I'm going to give you a chain. I'm going to give you this. Oh, I'm going to give you that. And then I'm either going to sit you on the shelf, or I'm going to make you work hard as hell, and I'm going to bank off of every single thing that you do. All I did was give you the platform.
Right, that's real. That's
now,
real.
Now, all they care about is, okay, how many followers do you have on social media? Okay, they didn't help you get that. You did that. So just because I have a platform, I can manipulate you, I can use you, I can make money off of you.
Yeah, that's real. There's
no way that is like of our culture.
Yeah, that's I mean the gatekeepers have changed, but it's the same energy. Like whether it be the major labels to the blog sites, the hip hop blog sites, now the DSPs, they all were the gatekeepers, keeping us or being the middleman between the artists and the audience. But they never really cared about the rappers.
That's got to be racist. There's no way.
They don't care about any of the musicians. They don't care about any of the musicians if you're not making money, and if you're dead, you can't make money. So now it's like, oh.
Well, we're not going to say if you're dead, you can't make money, because now the problem is these young black men are becoming successful. They're owning their masters. They're getting smart about it. They're getting killed. And then guess what? They're being streamed the fuck out. And guess what's happening is they're making more money dead than they're making alive.
100%. Okay, so let's get everybody else's opinion. Well, everybody else, chime in, Jack, or
So I'm going to say this is capitalism. This is all it is. It is pure decapitalism. If you don't understand who the product is in a situation, then you're going to go into it blindly, not realizing you're the product. Whether you are a rapper, a model, an actress, you are the product. And so when you go into these record deals, and, I worked actually at a music tech company in Atlanta. And we did, because it's young, so they did have a very, they're fans of the artist, so it's a little different kind of vibe. But no, the artists are the product, because if I'm on SoundCloud, I'm bringing my audience to your platform. You're getting more looks, you're getting more ad dollars. And so these kids need to understand that they're the ones who hold the power. And until they start to have a mind shift around that, it's not going to change, because it's capitalism. It's the old school studio system from the movie industry. That's all it is. And it's not going to change until people start taking their power back and recognizing that these old cats who've been running this industry forever, old crusty old white men, do bros, you have to take power from them. And that's what's going on globally as the shift in the culture, is that we're all starting to recognize that we have more power than they ever could. And that's why you're seeing all this wild stuff going on in the White House and everywhere else, because people are starting to wake up.
They're afraid.
And so that's really all it is. Y'all got to start to understand that capitalism ain't doing nothing for nobody, particularly people of color.
Spit it. Yeah, that's real. I mean, my main everything everybody's saying is on point. My emphasis on this was, again, talking about the sustainability of it. How much more can the hip hop genre take as it relates to not only major artists that are being lost and killed, but is it sustainable for the creativity of the art form? And the reason why I say that is the majority of people who are putting out music now, young people in particular, they are gravitating towards making stick talk type music. And an interesting kind of a flip of this is the young man NLE Chopper, which I talked about this online, and Jack was questioning me, but only reason why I think it's important for us to not only question each other, but to question the motives of a lot of these artists is because he's trying to escape the stick talk life. He's street adjacent. He's not an actual gang member, but he's close enough to it that he's seen a lot of that from the Louisiana, Baton Rouge area, Louisiana area. And so he's close or adjacent to that. He decided, I'm going to do a 180. I'm going to go ahead and go holistic. I'm going to get spiritual. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to eat healthy. But at the same time, he still puts out new records. He has a record with King Von talking about stick talk. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's interesting the paradigm shift that these kids are going to start happening as they realize, like, not only is this not sustainable, I can't really make money from this because it's hard to make money in music now. It's more than a lottery. It's being struck by lightning 25,000 fucking times. It's realizing that it's actually not only a dangerous art form, but it's not getting safer. And I say that to say that artists are getting targeted now. And that's why I wanted to really mention Boosie's point. He's like, we're being targeted by the labels, as we just all talked about. They're seen as fodder. They're seen as food. Like Lucius Grange, if I didn't already mention, he signed Trippie Redd and Danny Dimes, knowing that they were known gang members. Like, they know all of that stuff. They know what they're intentionally signing these gang members because they understand that's what people are gravitating towards. They know that that's what people want. We want the stick talk. We're going to get the guys that are associated with the streets. And so on the other side, they're also saying, the artists are saying, we're being attacked we could be killed by our fans. The labels want us dead so they can make money off of our masters that we won't own. And then we have to worry about our own sustainability of our craft and our art form. Is going to be, I just don't see, I think the music's going to get a lot lighter in the years to come, because I honestly think the kids are like, they're afraid, they're going to be afraid to actually come into the game. That's how dangerous it. That's how dangerous it is. I don't think it's going to stop. I think because now people understand it's open season, that you can at any time where a rapper is, because they're normally going to post where they are because they're doing performances. If they're on IG, they'll put their location. How much money they have, because most of the time they're publishing and brandishing their money. So it's just not a healthy lifestyle. So I want to open it up. Do y'all think that rap is the most dangerous music profession?
Man, this is really tough for me because, I think I grew up in a privileged situation in which I had the choice to not be in the streets.
Right.
Like a lot of my homies went into the streets, and
yeah,
it just never seemed appealing to me. Gang culture never seemed appealing to me. So it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around why it's still so cool to people.
Right.
I don't really care about guns. I don't carry a gun,
No sticks for you.
And I don't put that energy out there. And
yeah.
that energy is not around me. I don't walk around like worried that somebody's going to run up on me. And I think that there's, capitalism is definitely a big part of it. But I think there's the aspect of the energy that you put out there. If you always putting out, man, y'all ain't fucking with me, blah, 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 and all that all the time, eventually the energy is gonna come back to you. I'm not saying that's the case all the time,
right.
But it's more prevalent than it should be. One of the reasons why I like that Choppa is at least trying to have that other side, it's because it's necessary. Like we gotta get on like healthy lifestyles. We gotta take care of ourselves.
Facts.
We won't be able to build an enterprise without that.
Yeah,
so
that's big facts.
I don't want to sound like a preachy, rapper or whatever.
Preacher Jack. Pastor Jack.
But what I'm going to do is just, show by example. That's all I'm going to do. Nice. So,
yeah, that's real.
I want to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Devil don't need no advocate.
I hate to do it, but I think that it has to be done. Mm-hmm. Our culture loves the drama.
Yep.
Everybody loves the drama.
Yeah, it's all the cultures.
Yeah, shout out.
But ours in particular, we have been pushed to fight each other and to hate on each other and to hate who we are as people. Mm-hmm. And I think with that type of mentality also comes this, I got to be better than you. And it can't be a friendly competition. It has to be, if you're not doing what I think you should be doing to beat me or to play my game the same way that I am, then I got to get violent with you. I got to turn up on you because my ego and my pride are more important than my artistry and my skill.
Yeah, I mean, so that you said ego and pride, that also like stems from this capitalistic viewpoint But all of that has been passed down through white supremacy. You know what I mean? All of that, there's not enough food for everybody to eat. There's not the crab in a bucket theory, which isn't really true. You know what I mean? So they feed us this lie that there's not enough resources. Yeah. And that just spills over into our communities. And now I'm looking at people with envy and jealousy because my ego, like she said, is too big to accept that, well, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I just need to work on my happiness instead of thinking about other people's happiness and how they're achieving theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it can be. It's to answer the question. I guess it is the most dangerous music industry profession, because I don't know any dangerous music industry professions.
Gaffers, people who do studio stadium.
So let's say this
in the music industry.
You've had people in the music industry. I think right now it's because hip hop is super popular.
Right.
Like rock artists are drug addicts. Let's keep it 100. That is a personal choice. I want to, because I hate the devil's advocate, that title, because the devil don't need nobody to advocate for him. But my thing is this: where does personal responsibility come into that?
Exactly.
Where? Because you just you mentioned, okay, so they're on Instagram. I don't turn my location on Instagram ever, because I don't need you to know where the hell I'm at so you can pull up on me. I don't post anything that is showing you what I have in my pocket, what I have on my person, because you don't need to know that. 9 times out of 10, when I post something on Instagram, it's from days ago. So you can go wherever you think I'm at right now based on that picture. And I've been gone. Kim Kardashian had to learn that from when they robbed her in Paris. Whether or not that was a setup, we're going to talk, that's a different story. But that was because they had a very bad habit of posting, I have my diamonds and I'm hanging here and this is in my locations on.
Food.
That's your fault if people are pulling up on you, because you have put up a persona of, let me tell you where I'm at, let me tell you what I'm doing. You don't need to do that. You have to be smarter than that. And then on the side of the gang member thing, I don't think that the music industry is intentionally seeking gang members. I think you would be surprised at how many artists just are gang members, because they see going into the rap game as a way to escape the hood, as a way to make money. It's like when we were coming up in the 90s, everything was, you want to be like Mike. Now it's, you want to be a rapper. There's no shortage of young black men who want to be rappers. Working at Spinrilla, where we got to see the kid who's in his mom's basement trying to start, or the kid who's hustling and selling drugs so that he can try to get himself, up out of his situation. There were rappers while I was there, in the short time I was there, who got murdered. And those kids had gotten out of the streets, but because they had a beef with somebody while they were still selling drugs or while they were in the gang, that person saw them and was like, oh, I got you now because I've been waiting on you, or I just got out of jail and I know where you at now. So I think it's not that the music industry looks for them. It's, you'd be surprised how many of them are holding on to that as the dream, because capitalism teaches you you're not anything if you don't have a chain and a Benz and a house and a this and a that.
I remember.
And so that's what they go for. So I think, is it sustainable? The sad thing is, if I were the industry expert person, like I'm Warner or something, hell yeah, it is, because there's a new one coming out. As soon as one gets killed, there's another one coming to take his place. So yes, for the industry, it's sustainable. For our community, it never has been. Gangster rap has never been positive for our community. Even in the 90s, it was the same issues that we have today. Until we as a people realize the power that we hold, and until we start to make the choice to not play this game and to say there's a different way to do it, it's going to still be the same thing. We won't be, but somebody else will be having the same conversation 10 years from now. Yes, it's going to, the gang and all that stuff is going to go, that's going to fade, because again, that was popping in the 90s. By the early 2000s, it was bling. Then it was the backpack era. Now it's this. It's going to go back to something else.
Yeah, it's
the industry don't care.
It's definitely the pendulum, but and all bars. The pendulum of, if we're looking at, so we'll move on, but this is important, and I think that's why we wanted to really dive into this, because we are of this culture. As we said, we all have either been adjacent to, we're musicians ourselves or artists, or have been in the industry. We have friends or family that are in the streets, that are actually a part of or related to or connected to gang shit. So we're actually all connected to this shit, you know what I mean? And that's the reason why I wanted to speak about it, and then talk about, do we have any solutions for how we can resolve this? And in my mind, to your point, like you said, Anastasia, that our communities can't sustain this. And so the only way is that personal accountability. But in truth, just like what's happening right fucking now, like we right now was trying to figure out how to finagle so everybody can go watch two of the most notorious rappers in Atlanta who have the biggest beef ever, all related to violence. If they was all happy-go-lucky fucking grabbing hands and walking down the street, nobody would give two fucks about this versus. It's because they have an actual violent death associated with their beef. That's a part of the energy. Also because they're two of the biggest artists in Atlanta. But it's so ingrained, this violence, this history of violence that's built into the DNA of America. It's like, it's an obsession. It's why the content that we're consuming, whether it's on Netflix and like how every single thing you're watching, whether it's the video game culture, has this level of graphic reality to it that's at astronomical levels. Whether we're talking about PS5 fucking graphics, which shout out to Sony if you're listening, please, if you can send us one, that's fine. Also, I had to try, man. I had to fucking try. Super realistic quality at this point from the video game industry, which is a whole entire beast we will touch on at a later date. But it's like I don't see us pulling away from wanting less of that realism, which is also the point of why people are gravitating towards it in the music game. The kids want this sense of reality, whether it's voyeurism, which is normally the case with a lot of the white constituents who are followers of a lot of these artists. Or at the same time, it's the affluence, it's the ascension or the possibility of ascension, which is what a lot of these artists are promoting or flaunting. Even somebody like one of my favorites of the year, like Benny. Benny, I mean, people will say he may or may not have a gang. That's neither here nor there. I don't know. I don't live in Buffalo. But he is someone who is at least trying to, you can hear it in his music, you hear it in his rhymes, trying to illuminate and illustrate that there's different pathways. Even he's not safe because of what Anastasia just said. You have a past, right. You got somebody in another city. So it's like, even the artists who are doing things that are progressive and have a quality message are targets. And so it's not safe for anybody. And so the only thing we can really do is work on developing ourselves as a community internally and demanding. If the consumers demand it, then the people won't want it. So we as a consumer base, it's going to be hard. I don't know how it will happen. We'll have to try to figure out how we can demand.
It will happen. I mean, because it all ebbs and flows, man.
Right.
Like there's decades where peace is what's sought after. Then there's decades where the violence creeps back up again, but it gets smashed back down. So it's going to go back and forth. And you got to think about the gangs. They're not, we just say gangs, but like, I've shot so many music videos like at picnics, you know what I mean, where it's all Crips and their families, there's babies, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you look to the left and you see the rappers, it's like, oh, so this is your life. They're having like once a month, like get-togethers.
Yeah, it's family. So, I'm not saying gangs can't be family.
But when we look at it, it's like there is love in that community
for
too.
For sure, of course.
But it's part of who they are because they're a toddler and they grew up in it. Yeah, so that's the only life they know.
100%. It's a part of the culture. It's a part of their culture. But I'm going to say this, like Drewski said.
There's no way that is like of our culture.
One more time.
There's no way that is like of our culture.
Like the truth is, man, I think some things we have to work on, we can abolish or we can just kind of like discard. That's one of the things we can work on discarding. We can evolve. There's other kinds of things we can create. We can create clubs or other kind of community things. We got to evolve past that, man. And I hope that we can. And this is people I know who are actual known gang members who say the same shit. They're like, yo, man, this shit is like, it's dumb. It's like some shit I got stuck in when I was young and I want to get out, but you can't. You can't ever really get out, which we know.
Even
so it's like, you can't ever get out.
Them,
So they almost are like there's a level of regret, and they also have this cautionary tale, which is what they try to do in the music, but that isn't existing anymore. They ain't teaching cautionary tales. Like, no, one thing I will say, R.I.P. to Vaughn, he was not teaching cautionary tales. This is why I'm saying the switch is, it's not a cautionary, it's that anybody who wants it, I got it for you, which is the current aggressive, like it's so ultra aggressive that we gotta, we just gotta work on growing, and I hope that we can. And hopefully this was a productive conversation for y'all that y'all got something out of. So we're going to get in and move into our final piece, which is a switch. So we're talking about the current, what's going on currently in the hip hop music stratosphere. But let's talk about and project ourselves into the future, into 2021 and beyond. And let's talk about modern tech moves or tech moves for 2021 and beyond. And we're going to do that with the wonderful and fantastic Anastasia. She has actually been in the background, low-key, not high-key and low-key, supporting us and giving us tips from her wonderful and extensive background of over a decade or more experience in technology and in marketing. She's actually been our ninja in the background, making sure we're trying to make the best moves as we can possibly. And so I want to shout her out and give her a lot of love for that she's just doing, because she's a real one. And then also to introduce her to the Digi Tribe and allow her to kind of share what she's been working on, some of her knowledge that she wants to share. She has an extensive, I'll read it because she has an extensive and a fantastic background. So I'll read it. Anastasia has over a decade of experience leveraging technology to drive marketing with a focus on developing strategies and programs for high growth tech startups. So like her space is tech startups for sure. Her background includes traditional, digital, and experiential marketing. Again, shout out to the marketing. Yeah. So we're going to continue. This is Anastasia's bio. I want to give you all a little bit about her background because it's pretty hardcore. She has over a decade of experience leveraging technology to drive marketing with a focus on developing strategies and programs for high growth tech startups. So she's a aficionado in the tech startup world for sure. Her background includes traditional, digital, and experiential marketing, which again, back to her helping us out on the marketing front, content strategy, strategic messaging, and media relations. And she currently works with Shadow Ventures and doing a lot of incredible work. So I wanted to big her up, and I wanted to go ahead and drop one of our classic bombs for her and welcome you to the show. You've already been on the show, but kind of tell the people a little bit about you and kind of what are your thoughts on how we should be moving as Black and brown people in 2021 in the tech space?
So yeah, as somebody who's incredibly critical of late stage capitalism, working for a venture capital firm is like wild.
Talk about it.
So that's the first thing. Like people are constantly asking me like, yo, like, how does that align with your personal beliefs? And I'm like, it does in a way, but that's a whole different kind of story. So yeah, so I actually started out in the apparel industry, doing styling, working at showrooms, all that stuff. So that's really where I got my start. And then transitioned into tech, working for a company that was doing robotics for the sewing industry. So it was robotics for manufacturing. And then I've kind of been in tech ever since, worked at Spinrilla, and now I'm at Shadow Ventures, where I've been running their incubator. And now I'm going to be launching a sustainability tech accelerator in January. So that's what's be coming up. And so I think when you talk about like moves people need to make for 2021, it really depends on who you are. So like the first thing I always tell people is like the one thing most people don't know is that you and I and just the regular people, pretty much everybody you know, they cannot invest in tech startups. So when you see like Uber did their IPO, somebody who gave Uber like $5,000 as an angel investor or gave them $50,000, let's say, as an investor, you can't do that. You and I can't do that because there are SEC regulations in place that are around who can do certain types of alternative investments, and investing into startups, investing into venture funds. Those are alternative investments. To do that, you have to already be rich. But there is a regulation out there. So it's Reg C, it's for crowdfunding. So GoFundMe, but for equity investments. And that is a way that, particularly in our community, you can start to invest in a lot of these tech startups that are Black-owned startups that find such a hard time getting funding. And you can flip you a little equity into some cash, hopefully once they do their next round. Dawn Dixon, she did it with a few years ago. She was the first person to do $1 million in crowdfunded equity, and Black woman. And she did it for the reason that I outlined, because we don't get VC money. So if you know somebody who has a tech startup, Black person who's struggling, talk to them and be like, look, stop asking these venture capitalists for your money, because there's so many different hoops they're going to make you jump through. Let's take advantage of something because we know marketing. Black people, for some reason, I think like it's just because we have that innate sauce that we understand how to hustle, how to sell, and we know marketing, even though we don't call it marketing. So you'll see that we can do really well on things like crowdfunding because we know how to get the word out about what it is that we're doing. And that's a good way, like I said, for you or I to say, I got a few extra $100 I can put into this, into Ashley's business, help her get to where she needs to be so she can get her product out there. And then once she does her next round, I done turn maybe my 500 into maybe 2,500, you know, like your gains aren't going to be 7 to 10x, but they'll be enough that you can have more money to kind of spread around. And so that's the one thing I tell people, like on the tech side, it's the finance thing. Like we have to start focusing as a community on wealth building. And how do you do that effectively? So that's the first thing. The other thing is I need people to start solving real problems in technology, because some people, if I told y'all the amount of tech startups that like hit me up and I'm like, yo, this is not a problem. A young guy came up with a solution for a new platform for event management. And I'm like, okay. So he starts telling me about it, asking me my thoughts. I was like, nobody's going to invest in this. Why? It exists. It's called Hopin. It's called Zoom. It's called this. I was like, you have all these different competitors. I was like, who did you talk to? Well, I talked to rappers. I said, do they own events? Like, who do you? I was like, sir, I've done events for 10 years. And it's because you didn't go out and validate that you have a real problem. And that's another thing. Like we, as a people, y'all all have been told, I know everybody on this call has been told, like, you got to be twice as good. When you go to get funding, your idea can be a bomb idea. If your numbers are not twice as good, they are walking you out. They're not even going to talk to you. So you can't come to them halfway. And that's the thing. It was like, you're not solving a real problem. And you think you can do what Zuckerberg did. You can't, you not him. That, like, if I told y'all the stuff that I get all the time that I really wish we'd leave in 2020, it's, I cannot move the way white people move. I'm a woman. I can't move the way women move. As a Black woman, I can't move the way white women move. And so, so many of us go into tech and we're mad. And it's like, you have to learn how to do different. I have to learn a different hack. I can't keep doing the same thing Chad doing, think that I'm going to get Chad money. Chad's father worked at IBM as a VP of something for 20 years. Because that's the parts of the story that they don't tell y'all. Everybody want to talk about Bill Gates in a garage and Zuckerberg dropped out of school. Bill Gates' mom was working for IBM, yo. Like, it's not like he just came out of nowhere with this. You know, when you talk about Zuckerberg, he had connectivity. You know, we don't have that same level of access. So we have to do things differently. We have to be solving real problems in ways that they don't understand, that's going to net income that they don't get, you know? Because like that's really what it comes down to. Like you see the guy, the founder of Calendly. Like Calendly is the most simple thing. I don't know how somebody didn't get it.
Calendly's hard.
It takes me 2 weeks to schedule a meeting if I say, Jack, when are we going to, like, because I don't see the email. He came up with that, Black guy came up with that, couldn't get funding in Atlanta.
Which is crazy.
Like, and that, it's simple and it's a real problem, real solution, but he couldn't get funding. So what did he do? He hit up his community. You know, so I think like for me, when I think of next year, I really want us to start leaving shit behind, leaving old mentalities behind. It's not like, I'm not going to tell you like, oh, you need to go and study engineering and learn how to code. I'm not telling them, I'm not going to learn how to code. I don't want to do that shit. What I'm going to tell you is like, leave these mentalities of looking at other people. Like I do yoga. In yoga, they tell you mind your own mat. Pay attention to your mat. Stop minding other people's business because I can't get it how other people got. And that kind of goes back to what we said earlier about the stick talk and rap. Mind your own business. And if you focus on your business, not looking like you have a business, because half of Atlanta look like they got a business, and I know they poor because I know their life, and I know you don't have no furniture in your house, but you look like you got a business.
Whoa, hold on.
Anastasia, go.
Hold on. I had to drop the bomb. I had to drop one more.
She just went in the second grade.
I gotta drop one more.
Like for real, like y'all know, there are tons of people in Atlanta that when you look at it on social, when you look at it, like who's getting speaking engagements, who's on the podcast, who's big up. If you really looked into it, I know what those people are making. I can tell you what their salary is, and they're not making no more than anybody on this call.
Wow. Spit it. Woo! So I mean, you know what? I think that's a good place to punctuate. That. You know what I'm saying? She came with the super duper spice, and we need it. We need it. We need it. No, we need it.
That's why you asked me.
That's the whole reason why I had you come on.
Are we lying?
That's the whole reason why I had you come on. You know what I mean? And
right.
Facts.
Real deal. So if you could tell the people, because we're all about, again, giving people resources. If you didn't already know, included with every episode of Digital Good Times is the DigiPack, which is our resource guide, which you can only get access or gain access to via our newsletter, via our Facebook group, and now via our Discord. So we got a lot of different ways for you to get this information and these resources. So we'll drop some of those off in the pack. But do you have any resources that you could point people to get them where they can either start elevating or evolving or growing their knowledge base as it comes to gaining or looking for resources and financial resources or marketing or what just pointing people to spaces where they can go elevate themselves in preparation?
So the first thing I would tell people is they need to start listening to more podcasts in the area that their areas of interest. So like for me, I'm not a finance person. I used to skip finance and economics when I was in college. I sat outside and went by the pool. So for me, like my favorite podcast, so what is it? How It's Made? Who built this? I was like, no, I'm making that up. Who built this? And they talk to founders. So like they'll talk to like the founder of Calendly, and they give you really good game on how they got to where they are. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts that are focused on economic policy. Because if you're trying to, like from a financial standpoint in this space, tech is a great space to build wealth. But if you're like me, you're not strong in finance, really start listening to stuff like Bloomberg Masters in Business, because a lot of the people that they bring on, those people are people who have worked in the tech industry. They have people like the guy who wrote Secrets of Sand Hill Road. Great book if you want to learn about VC, like the basics of VC from a startup perspective.
Okay.
So if you're a startup and you want to raise money, Secrets of Sand Hill Road breaks it down really easily. It's very digestible. And that guy is always, you hear him and people like that on Bloomberg Masters in Business, and they break it down in a way, like a friend of mine who works for Bloomberg. If you don't know finance, I got some episodes for you. And it's been immensely helpful because I think if you're a tech founder, awesome, you have to hear other founders' journeys, but you also have to really get fluent in the finance side of things, because venture capitalists are out to make themselves money and make their LPs money. If they know that one of their startups is going to fail, they know out of 10, over half of them are going to fail. They're probably involved. And yes, like we're super hands-on. We want to make sure that you're successful, but we can't want it more than you. And we can't know more about your business's financial setup than you. So you need to brush up on the finances and also know what venture partners are looking for. And Secrets of Sand Hill Road is a good start. And then, like I said, Bloomberg Masters in Business, and then Who Built This? That's like really dope. Like check that out. I mean, I can give y'all books on like how capitalism is trash and we need to rebuild the system, but that's a different story.
Yeah, we gonna have you back. Don't please believe this ain't the first nor last. You know what I mean? We gonna have you back. We appreciate all those jewels. So we're gonna go ahead and transition to our final segment after all them jewels, and we're gonna have all of those in the pack. So I'm gonna actually write them down. I'm gonna transcribe what she just said, and you will actually be able to go look up, and we'll have the links to all that stuff. So again, the DigiPack is real deal. This is where we're giving you resources. We're not just here to be a talking box or talking voices, because there's enough of that, but we're here to be resources for our community, in particular in the tech space and in the creative content creation and music space. So let's go ahead and get into our final segment, which is Picks of the Week, and it goes a little something like this. All right, so who would like to start it off? Their picks.
I'll
go ahead, jump in.
So let's see. I watched the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion.
I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
How was that?
I mean, I cried a couple times.
Oh, you cried?
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's that emotional like that?
Well, James Avery.
Yeah, man. That is
sad.
emotional. He's incredible.
And then with Janice, with Janet coming back and just really kind of letting it all out about what happened. Yeah, not like holding back either.
Yeah,
like,
they get into it. They get into it.
She's like, you ruined my life. She told him straight up to his face.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, you did that. But it was a good reconciliation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really nice. There was a lot of funny moments too. A lot of laughs.
So that's a go. Another plug for HBO fucking Max.
Yeah, they're doing it.
They killing it. They killing
Undoing on HBO Max too with Nicole Kidman.
What?
Undoing.
I hear people talking about this.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
It's a documentary?
No, it's a TV show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, scripted.
She been getting it in.
I hear it's good actors and actresses.
She's becoming like the queen of miniseries, you know?
Okay. I think she's taking Meryl Streep. She's coming from Meryl Streep.
I don't know. It's like every limited series HBO does. Like, she gets one a year or something.
Okay.
And I've been reading this book called The Hidden Life of Trees.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Yeah, that's man. Just book. To see how we're so much like them because they've been here a lot longer. They've grown communities. They have best friends. You know what I mean? The family stays together. They spread their seeds. Yeah, they don't infringe on each other's space. Like they know how to live in harmony. Ooh. Yeah, it's a really good book to see how they're all interconnected and they communicate. They warn each other of predators. They fend off predators by releasing pheromones to get other animals to come in. Yeah, it's really good. So that's a good one to read.
Fantastic.
It'll change you and it'll slow you down too.
Okay.
You don't have to rush.
That's a lot of heat. That's a lot of heat. I like it. That's a lot of heat.
In a month,
That's a lot of heat.
Watching a lot of TV too.
All right, who's next? Who's next for their pick? All right, I go if nobody. All right, I go. So my picks of the week on the I would say video or film side. Oh no, not TV side. Fantastic show that's been on for this is the second season. Is actually written. It was the original screenplay was written by Bruce Lee, and it's executive produced by his daughter Sharon Lee. And it's called Warrior, and it probably is the best in my opinion. And first of all, Mulan was hot fucking garbage, like pure.
What was
it? Was
yeah, pure.
Wait, what was
Mulan?
Oh,
pure fucking garbage. Because they were like they couldn't because they had to make it G, and they couldn't really. It's like that movie deserved. It needed more action, needed more realism. Like you know what I'm saying. So it don't have none of that. But as far as like Asian actors and Asian American actors, Warrior bar none has all of them. All of them on that show are doing a master class, and it's one of some of the best action and martial arts fight scenes on TV. It's hard. It's on Cinemax. It's on the second season. It's incredible. It's an incredible show. It's like Asian Game of Thrones. It's hard. And then the second TV series that I would recommend. Well, obviously not a recommendation, but I'm a huge fan, and I think it's incredible. Is the Eric Andre show. He's his new season. Season 5. Eric Andre is my spirit animal. They did an actual fantastic episode talking about the behind the scenes, how they make it, and you get to see how truly diverse his staff is. I'm talking about every ethnicity, men, women, etc., and like the room that he has of people that come together to work on the show. You think it's just like this random ass nigga that's just walking on the streets harassing and terrorizing people. There's a room and like an entire community of people that build that show, and I think it's so dope how intricate it is. He's like a black Andy Kaufman, you know what I'm saying? Black Andy Kaufman, Black Jackass, all of that shit like combined together, and he just makes fucking hilarious ass shit. So I want to big that up. And for the music front, do I have anything on the music front? No, I don't. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Busta Rhymes.
That Busta Rhymes is trash, and that's my hot take.
Garbage.
It wasn't good. That's my take.
I am loving, I loved Queen's Gambit.
Oh, that was nice.
I keep hearing about that.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, it was awesome. I love chess, so that was right up my alley.
I didn't know you played chess. Okay. Chess it up.
Okay.
Chess it up.
You play too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
And my book pick is going to be Medical Apartheid.
Medical Apartheid?
Yes. So it's pretty much about the dark history of different things that they've done medically to Black people, how they've tested on our bodies, how they have experimented on us for ages, and it's dark. It's very dark, but it's a great book so far.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. All right, who we got? We got Jack and we got Anastasia.
Yeah, I sent y'all a link to Teleparty. I think we've been trying to figure out how to host some watch parties. So Teleparty allows you to synchronize video playback and as group chat to like Netflix, Disney, Hulu, HBO, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. So cross-platform.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So we'll try it out.
We'll get that going.
I've been looking at it and I think it's cool.
You rock with it? Okay.
Also want to give a shout out to some of my Apple Music homies who have this show called The Plug, in which they are highlighting fresh new music and not always just this, sometimes programming can get a little stale and they just kind of present the same thing over and over. They're making sure that there's like more like underground
to curate it,
not as popular artists that are getting some shine. So check that out if you have Apple Music.
Alrighty.
Respect. All respect. All right. Take us home, Anastasia.
Okay, so before I tell y'all my picks, it is Native American History Month. So I think we need to just give a huge shout out to the indigenous people who helped flip Arizona. Because if you actually look at the map of all of the counties that went blue, they were on the reservations. They did a really good job in Navajo Nation of activating their tribe and getting their people out at historic numbers. And I want to make sure that as we have this conversation around who helped flip, the country, who helped turn the tide in this country, that our indigenous brothers and sisters are not left out.
Wasn't like 92% or something crazy like that?
Spit it.
I'm just saying, like, we got to give them love.
Spit
it. Like, they've been through it just like we've been through it, Yeah. So what I am reading now, I'm probably reading like 4 books right now, but the one that is really the one that's sticking out with me is How to Do Nothing. Resisting the Attention Economy. And so it's really about, it was on Barack's list of books. And it's really about the system that we've built and this idea of hustle culture and usefulness, and that we don't have to give our attention, whether or not something is popping on Twitter. You don't have to do that. You can actively choose something else, something that is beneficial to you, and how we start to turn the dial back away from social media and back onto ourselves. So that's something I've been reading. It's really dope. Watching The Crown. We're season 3, season 4. Like, this season is with Diana, and you really get to see like how they, like, I don't remember how, because we were all young,
right?
But like, you get to see really how like she was doomed from the outset. And it also kind of thinking in parallel to what Meghan Markle has gone through with that family. Like, you really see why Harry was like, nah, we out.
Right.
Like, why he was so, it's because it's like wild. From the day they met Diana, it was wild. So like, and I love the royals because they messy. Because, like Ashley said earlier, we like drama.
People like the drama. People like the drama.
So that's what I got.
That's real. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot of sauce. We got
some gems, girl.
I'm just saying, like, we just, like, for real, like, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts around, like, indigenous peoples in America and really learning more about their history. And as much as, like, we have learned about us and the massacres that we've lived through, and like what the book you're reading, Ashley, about the history of medicine that actually came from inflicting pain on our bodies, they have gone through so much.
Facts.
And this is their home.
Right.
Like, I imagine I come into your house, I take your child, I tell your child, like, you got to pretend that's not your mama anymore. And then I kill the people in the house. Like, it's just so much was done to them that, like, I was listening to a podcast about a woman who's a Navajo this morning, and it just made me want to cry because I just, like, I couldn't. Like, as much trauma lives in our bodies, so much more lives in theirs. And so we really need to, like, start looking at and honoring all these different beautiful cultures that make up, America. There's no such thing as white culture. But yeah. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
She's like, I'm gonna leave it on that.
I don't mean that necessarily.
So
his name is Spicy.
We're gonna. Let me say this.
There's no way that is like.
Oh, I'm gonna say this.
There's no way that is like of our culture.
So,
I mean, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. My boyfriend's white. He would hear this and get mad at me.
I mean, but you're not talking about that. You know what I mean? He obviously not a part of that because he's with you. So you know what I'm saying? It's different.
Nah, he gonna be like, what are you saying? But yeah,
I'm spitting that real. So this has been episode. We don't have to say the episode number, but our latest episode. Yeah, we don't do that no more. We hope that you gotten something from this. We got probably one more in the chamber before we end season 3, which will bring you back to, full circle moment to the beginning of the episode and our original plug. We are excited to announce this is our first time ever doing a seasonal launch. So every season now will include a special limited edition merch drop that we're doing specifically for y'all, for the tribe, because we could easily be like, oh yeah, let's go drop ship, and like we can do that with our eyes closed, because we literally are in the middle. We're in a space that manufactures all the shirts in Atlanta. Like, we got it, but we wanted to do something special. I'm saying that intentionally because we want to be very intentional about everything we're doing, including the things that we're creating for you that we hope you'll enjoy, and that we believe is going to kind of add a different spin in how you represent yourself, but also helping elevate Digital Good Times so we can do more, give you more content, do more within our community of Atlanta and Georgia and across the diaspora in general. So stay tuned for that. It's coming soon. I can't give you the date yet because you just got to be ready for it. Make sure you're subscribed on all of our platforms, or at least one of them, whether it's Facebook, the Apple, Spotify, Discord, blah, blah, blue. You can name all of them. Or you can go to digigoodtimes.com and get all of that shit, and I get access. We're going to keep coming back strong as we close out our season 3. And on that note, man, has anybody got anything they want to end with?
About to drop some new shit soon.
So we got that too. So y'all look out for that. That's coming. We got Heat Rocks.
The chamber.
Nice. Heat Rocks. It's about to be on. I've seen some of the content. He's got incredible videos, new music. He's remastering this. Man, you better stay tuned for 2021. We're not letting up. We only putting the gas down. And also, I guess I want to end with this. I wanted to end with this. Okay. And on that note, all right. I love y'all, man. Enjoy Digital Good Times. We out here.